Hi everyone, today we're going to start with section 1.1, which deals with angles. Okay, so trigonometry really is a subject that deals primarily with angles in different shapes that deal with angles like triangles and even circles. Trigonometry also deals with the functions that result from these angles, different relationships between the sides of angles and sides of triangles, I should say, and some other things. So we're going to start off very basic discussion today on angles. Okay, the first thing we need to do is just get a definition what an angle is, and we'll just start very basic with this. It's basically two rays. Okay, a ray starts at one point and extends out indefinitely in the other direction. It's kind of like part of a line. Okay, so a ray will look like this. All right, and an angle really has two rays together that meet at the same point, the same initial point here. So the second ray may go like this, just an example. The point where they intersect is called the vertex. Okay, the vertex is the point where they intersect. And the first ray that I wrote down, this is kind of a fixed ray, is called the initial side. That's the initial side of the angle, and the other ray where it opens up to is called the terminal side. Okay. Now angles can be measured. The greater the opening between them, the greater the measurement. The smaller the opening, the smaller the measurement. What we need is some sort of unit to be able to measure these things in, to be able to compare the different sizes. Okay, so in between here, there's got to be some sort of unit or measurement. The measurement that we're going to use is called a degree. Okay, so 1 degree is 1/360th of a complete circle. Okay, so if you imagine an angle, this angle could open up all the way around to a circle. Okay, if this angle opened all the way around, you would have 360 degrees. Okay. So 1 degree is a 360th. It's a small portion of that complete circle. Okay, so imagine or consider a complete circle where the angles open from the center all the way around. Okay, going around the circle. Then if you were to take 360, if you were to cut this into 360 equal parts, you would get 1 degree. Okay, so 360 equal little parts like this. Each one of them would measure 1 degree. Okay. Okay, so that's a definition of a degree. A couple things I want to point out is that you can have positive angles. Positive angles open counterclockwise, whereas negative angles would open clockwise. Okay, so positive angles open counterclockwise, whereas negative angles open clockwise. Okay, so two different directions make two different signs on the angle. Now, if you imagine, 360 degrees around a circle, you can think about different fractions of that. So say half a circle would be half of 360 degrees. That would be 180 degrees. Okay, so let me erase some of this. And so 180 degrees is half of a circle, which would mean your ray, your initial side, may start out to the right, and then if you do half a circle from there, it would open up to the other side there, okay? It's kind of a flat circle, it doesn't go very high, but that's okay. So this would be a 180 degree angle. That's half of the circle. It's half of the 360 degrees. A quarter of the circle would be 90 degrees, okay? 90 degrees, 90 degree angle is quarter of a circle, and we also call this a right angle. Okay, so a right angle is a 90 degree angle, and it's quarter of the circle. Okay. All right. Now, these two examples give us some other definitions. If we have two angles that together make a right angle, okay, we would end up with something called complementary angles. So complementary angles are going to be two angles that add up to 90 degrees. Okay, two angles whose sum is 90 degrees. So you can imagine if you had a 90 degree angle here, then two complementary angles are going to be two angles like this angle A and this angle B that add up to the 90 degrees. Okay. On the other hand, if you had two angles that added up to 180 degrees, we call those supplementary angles. So supplementary angles are two angles whose sum is 180 degrees. Okay? And so a 180 degree angle is essentially a straight line. That's what you get if you had half of the circle. And so then you could think of, any two angles like this one here, we'll call that A, and this other one on the left, we'll call that B. Those two angles make up a straight line or make up 180 degrees, so they are considered supplementary.